Здравствуйте, that's Ruski язык for hello. Probably said with a very bad accent. Здравствуйте. Is that any good?
It's good. It's recognizable.
Tatiana says it's okay. I'm trying to find a diminutive for her or a patronymic, and maybe she'll tell me one. Do you have a patronymic? You know, like with your father?
Yeah.
What is it?
Vyacheslavoovna.
Say it again.
Don't even try. You won't be able
Please.
to repeat it.
Vyacheslavnya?
Vyacheslavoovna. 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 Vyacheslavoovna.
The Russians have some marvelous things regarding what they call a patronymic. But what is your diminutive? You know, what's like a cute little name for Tatiana?
Tanya.
Tanya! So, Tanya, that's very glamorous also. Anyway, sorry about this fooling around with a loved one. But anyway, I had been talking before I went up into the clouds and vanished into the idea of ideas of nothing. The nothing that is something. I was talking about games. I realized that I am using a certain amount of hand gestures, but I'm not flying like this when I'm talking. So I take that as a measure of improvement. But anyway, about games, I didn't want to give people the impression, God, he said games are aberrative. They may be fun, but they're bad for people to play because you have to try your hardest to harm your opponent in a game. And that's simply true whether you're playing checkers or you're playing war. War is a game where you set out to win a game. You have a playing field, you have armies, it's like chess. Come together, you do everything you can to make the other side lose, and if they lose, you have a victory, you claim the spoils. But the long-term effect of games is not mentally healthy because you're really trying to damage what might be called one of your own dynamics. Like Tatiana's a fellow human being. She has feelings. She wants to feel good. I am setting out when we play chess to make her feel bad. I want to make her feel she's a loser.
I'm not going to feel that because I'm going to be happy for you to win.
She's going to be happy for me, which is that's a no-game condition. That's called pandeterminism. Okay, now, here's the thing about games. The thing is, play them by all means. Play rough games. Don't just play, I'm knitting faster than you're knitting. Get out there and play rough. Play games with physical contact. Play games where you can mentally and emotionally beat others. But remember that at some point, you're going to need some degree of rehabilitation from doing that. Because when you're working to harm, to beat, to win, to overcome, to destroy others, there's something that comes back to you, call it the other flow. You make victims, you eventually become a victim. It's the way life works. You hit something, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You know, it's the third law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction in this universe. So you harm, you eventually get harmed. You help, you get help. Things like that. So if you play hard a lot of times and eventually you start losing, like I'm getting old, I get beaten at tennis now. And I don't like to lose and it makes me feel bad and I get depressed or whatever. So this requires rehabilitation. By rehabilitation, I mean gaining an awareness of what you've done and what's been done to you so that you can free yourself from that cycle. It's called the overt motivator cycle. Another way of saying it, time wounds all heals. You'll always get what's coming to you. Cause and effect. There's a karma. There's all these names for it. And in our level of existence, it's operational. people that harm a lot. You know, look at the fate of many of our favorite dictators. What's become of them? Some of them end up hanging from a meat hook by their... Anyway. So, therefore, just realize that when you are setting out to harm things, eventually, one way or another, you can get the other direction affecting you. Hitler found that by making many people, like the Slavic people and the so-called Romney or Gypsy people and the Jews, by making them subhuman, he was at the same time making himself and his organization subhuman. You make others subhuman, others that aren't really subhuman. It doesn't matter what you do to the Russians or the Jews or the Gypsy. They're not really humans. We are. Us Germans are the real humans, the master race. They ended up becoming themselves subhuman and degraded and doing the most gruesome and stupid and horrible and sick things. And finally it all came back. The very people that they sought to destroy came back in power and took away everything and turned Germany into a hollow, defeated, destroyed nation. In many ways, they've recovered a lot since then, but the stench of blood and misery and clings to their history. Not too long. I mean, the world has been filled with horrible things like this. So, but it all comes from games. I win, you lose. Okay, but remember what you're doing to somebody when you make them lose. Just remember that and realize what you have to do to yourself to want to win so badly that you're willing to have another person or a group or a country or a planet even feel like shit so that you can feel powerful and great. I won. Okay, but by all means, one of the big things about Dianetics and Scientology, according to Hubbard, was to restore the willingness to play, even though it's recognized that in play you can get wounded, you can get hurt, you can get killed, you can lose your mind, you can lose your property, you can lose your fortune at a gambling table playing, but that if you're really up here, these all are not things that are that serious. If you're down here, they're very serious. I lost everything at the table tonight at the casino. To a free being, playing at that level is fun. It's sport. The other thing is to restore the feeling of the spirit of play. Now, the spirit of play, once again, is not about beating, winning, destroying, conquering. It's about the joy that comes from running and throwing and feeling really alive and not suppressed and depressed and worried and tensed up. It's just like, whoa, the way little kids are. They are a marvelous example, which of course we can't stand, of being really free. If you didn't teach them that they must protect, own, and cherish, and always look out for their body, little kids would kill themselves off. They would never think about looking both ways when they cross the street or going into a ditch or jumping into water or jumping out of a tree. I think I'll just stab that in my eye and see what happens. They don't have any of those thoughts about the need to make the body the most important thing they'll ever have. They're very careless of their bodies, and parents are like, wait a minute, don't do that, you could hurt yourself. Get down from that tree, don't cross that street, be quiet. Can't I teach you anything about being careful? So parents, literally implant their children to have this thing as the most important toy. In fact, we want you to be your body completely, and if the way we do it now, if you don't behave, we can hurt you, we can spank you, we can take away your privileges, we can do all kinds of things to you, and that's the only way we can get to you. And that's how the government and other things work too. The only way they can get through me is through this body. They can put me in jail, they can electrocute me or shoot me or hang me or whatever if I misbehave according to what the government says, if I become a problem. But all they can do is to my body. And that way, if I'm being my body, they've done it to me. So that's an old game, is to get the guy to be something that can be harmed, and then you can control him easily. So that works, but one of the things that to some degree made Hubbard and Scientology and Dianetics unpopular was he advocated restoring your understanding that you weren't anything that could be harmed. That's dangerous. And furthermore, he wanted to restore in people, or help restore, the spirit of play like children have it. And everybody else is like, no, I want you to take things more seriously. You can't go around laughing and fooling around this way. I want you to be more serious about your schooling, about when you do this, and when you go to bed. Be serious, be serious, be serious, be solid. Fully solid, then you're okay as a citizen. Solid in your head, solid in your thinking. Then you're civilized enough to be allowed to enter our society and our civilization. Now, there are all kinds of gradients of being serious, but the spirit of play, just remember, please, and restore, even if you can't embrace it fully, what it felt like to be a child playing. And you will be out the roof. It's the most wonderful feeling of being alive. I know everyone, even me, have had moments of feeling that way. And it's something that you can restore to a degree that won't bring down the society on you, but that you can enjoy life a lot more. Yeah. Okay? So by all means, though, play games. Just know what you're doing, and at some level, harm is impossible. But at the level that we're playing at, you can harm and be harmed. So it seems, by consideration, by agreement. That's how it works. And on that cheerful note, I'd like to say, Tatiana reported to me, which I greatly appreciate, that there are some people who are claim to be deriving benefits from what we're doing, these talks and my opinions and thoughts, and that others feel that these are helpful. And because of that, for better or for worse, I'm doing more, because somehow there lingers in what's left of what I'll call me, the desire to help, pure and simple. And if I can help greatly, I'm greatly helped if you're helped, and, that sort of thing. Idealism, it's not dead. All right, thank you, and sayonara, and auf Wiedersehen, and
Au revoir. Au revoir.
au revoir, and ave anche vale, which means in Latin, hail and farewell.